All right, hello everybody. We are back in the channel, and I've heard that Unreal Engine 4 is not, long gone and you are already missing it. Well, good news for you. So what you are watching right here is Unreal Engine 4, right? Believe me, yes, everything is Unreal Engine 5 on the outside, but the method of rendering and everything that was in Unreal Engine 4 is still here in the engine. So let me show you what I've done with this project. So if we go edit and we go project settings, and if we go down until we see rendering, there are a couple of things that we can change in Unreal Engine 5 to work exactly as Unreal Engine 4 is working right now. So the first thing that you need to check out is, of course, the dynamic global illumination method. In Unreal 4, you're going to be able to turn on ray trace, but for now, let's go with none. So this is vanilla Unreal Engine 4. So no method of dynamic global illumination, all right? So the other thing is no method. Um, where is it? Reflection method should be screen space, all right? And we are not going to use hardware ray tracing when available. All right. So this, no global illumination method and screen space reflection method. This is vanilla Unreal. Also, you can have ray trace support on, but if you are not, if you don't check any of this, nothing ray trace will happen in your scene. All right. And neither if you don't select it as your dynamic global illumination method, right? So next thing, we are going to generate mesh distance field because that was available in Unreal Engine 4. And we also have, where is it? Where are the, all right, this right here, anti-aliasing method, temporal anti-aliasing, the all good times of TAA, it's still here, so you can select it. And finally, there should be around, where is it? Shadow maps. There it is. So if you revert from virtual shadow maps to shadow maps, so this is going to be, old school Unreal Engine 4. So what we see right here is Unreal Engine 4 rendering. And you can attest that by seeing that because reflections are screen space, we have a little bit of reflection here in the CG Pro logo, but whatever is behind this mesh, there is nothing there to be reflected. All right. So what you have here is screen space reflections, the old type of shadows, and also if you select any of these Quixel Megascans meshes, if I select them, NANITE is off, and it has 5 LODs assigned to it. So this goes from, 1700 triangles. And if I go to the smallest LOD, now is, 900 vertices. So this is old school Unreal Engine 4. And you can go about and start turning things on, for things to start becoming more and more, um, peak Unreal Engine 4. So in Unreal Engine 4, if you didn't know, we had, so let's go back down here and let's make it a little bit better. So if we go up until we see the global illumination method, there was a screen space global illumination that you can turn on, and you are going to see that you have a little bit of a bounce here. So let me turn it on and off. This was available for Unreal Engine 4. So if you want to check it, this is none, and this is screen space global illumination. Now a little bit of bounce. Now, the thing with this effect is that is screen space. So if I come here, it's going to be gone, right? So here we don't have a bounce. Here we have a little bit of a bounce. So it needs to calculate things that are in the full stream of your viewport, right? Same with, reflections, all right? So that was good, right? And in terms of shadows, for example, this is cascade shadow. So if we come here to environment and I select my directional light, if I go all the way down here, you can see that I have four um, cascade shadows working here, right? But I could also, for example, use distance field shadows. So I could turn this whole thing off. And if everything here, all right, let me fix this very fast. I don't know why this thing needs this, maybe? No. So yeah, this background, yeah, this backdrop doesn't like too much, distance field shadow. So I'm going to turn it off for now so we can see the shadow in the floor. So distance field shadows work by, you could choose, a different source angle, and you're going to have like more realistic shadows than the cascade one, just because cascade will be sharp, from the contact to the edge, you know and in the case of the, so let me show you, this is distance field shadow, and if I turn on cascade shadow, you're going to see that everything goes very, very sharp, right? And depending, on the numbers and the exponent, you can make them sharper. And so as you see, you have, somehow good shadows. Now, if you want to go all the way, let's do it. So now we are going further into, peak Unreal Engine 4. So in this case, instead of dynamic global illumination method being screen space, we are going to select the all. This one is going to be deprecated. This might be a little bit, hard to grasp, but in time, Lumen will absorb the code from standalone ray trace, right? So Lumen is going to do whatever ray trace did in the past, and it's going to have like or right now does have the ability to work with software global illumination or ray trace global illumination, the same with reflection. So I'm going to select my screens, my dynamic illumination method to ray trace, and the same with the reflections, right? So now we should have, there it is, we have ray trace reflections, and we have ray trace global illumination. So now that I got rid of those distant field shadows, now the backdrop can return. And as you see, now we have good reflections being driven by ray trace. So now we're getting peak, more and more of the best of what Unreal Engine 4, and still have not turned on anything from Unreal Engine 5, right? So we could do more. Right now I'm using cascade shadows. So if you want ray trace shadows, all you need to do is to turn this on, and you're going to see the difference right here. I mean, down here. Where are you? Here. Ray trace shadows. There it is. Now we have ray trace shadows, and cascade shadows not, it's not going to do anything here. You could turn it on and off. Where are they? Here they are. So as you see, cascade is gone. Now we have ray trace shadow. So we're getting there. No. And lastly, we could also use ray trace skylight, right? And that's it. Now we have, this is the best that Unreal Engine 4 could, give us. But there are catches. So for example, if you're going to use ray trace and you want to do a lot of things like this, duplicating and intersecting geometries, this is venom for ray trace, and this is why ray trace is going to be duplicated and eliminated from Unreal Engine, because Unreal Engine 5 is a lot about doing this intersecting geometry, because Lumen is great at this. Lumen will allow you to do this all day long, and everything is going to be in one draw call. But the thing is that Lumen is not compatible with ray trace, or at least with the vanilla flavor of ray trace. All right, so it needs to be combined, in the same code as Lumen for it to work with NANITE. All right, so now we can start, going into the realms of Unreal Engine 5. Right, so allow me to turn off ray trace shadows and ray trace skylight, and I'm going to change shadow maps to virtual shadow maps. All right, and now we should have also, the same quality of lights, of shadows, but even better. Now, there is also a catch when we start, dabbling. So this is the first thing we're turning on from Unreal Engine 5, virtual shadow maps. And you must know that if you're not using NANITE virtual geometry, virtual shadow maps can be more expensive than, the normal shadow maps, or even sometimes the ray trace shadow maps. All right. So if you're going to work, now we start seeing that if we want to work with Unreal Engine 5, you're going to pay a price if you want to have 1 foot still in Unreal Engine 4. So now, as you can see, we have a shadow that have an amazing contact, right? And then they're going to have a nice penumbra, um, at the distance. Okay. Now, the next thing that we can start playing with is, reflections. Reflections from ray trace are cool, are great, but they may be a little bit, taxative on your performance. So now what we want is to take, where is it? Our standalone ray trace for reflections, and I'm going to turn that into Lumen, right? And now you're going to start seeing that there are some of those, for example, this mesh right here, it's not being reflected. So we can check in the, so let me minimize this down here for a little bit. So if we check our Lumen scene, we should be able to see that there is something wrong here. So let me also turn on, I guess that this is the issue. Where are you? This one right here. So we're going to do Lumen dynamic global illumination and Lumen reflection method, right? So now you should see that we do have reflections, right? They are not perfect, because let me tell you how this goes. Unreal Engine 5, the software Lumen is going to be more for real-time performance, and you're going to have correct, at least, reflections, but they're not going to be amazingly good. All right, but that is okay. They do the trick. If you're not relying on very glossy reflections, they are going to be perfect for your project. All right, everything reflects correctly, as you see. And if it is, somehow rough reflection, it's going to work perfectly. But if you want a mirror like, you're going to start losing a little bit of detail, right? So now we are getting into Unreal Engine 5 territory, right? So let me turn off the Lumen scene. And now we do have, right? We have Lumen for global illumination. We have Lumen for reflection. We have virtual shadow maps, right? So there is one more thing that we can change here, and that is our temporal anti-aliasing. So let's change it for the new temporal super resolution, right? And now I guess from here, we are done. We have everything working in Unreal Engine 5, all the new goodies, all right? So there are more things that we can do. Let me show you what that is. So now we have this working with Lumen Scene and Lumen global illumination and Lumen. So now you see that if I come pretty near here, you see that there is this bleeding of the color, but the good thing is that now it's not screen space. Now it will reflect and do global illumination without the screen space, all right? So that is great. And without ray tracing, without the NVIDIA, flavor of ray tracing, all right? This is software ray tracing for now. Now, the other thing that we can do is, for example, select this mega scan that has LODs, and we want to see, where this is. So we're going to click here, and right here, I'm only going to right click, first option, enable, right? That's it. Now it's a NANITE. And let's do the same thing with this one. Where are you? So here you are. Right click, NANITE, enable. And that's it. Now these two Megascans assets here are NANITE, are working with NANITE. So let's check light NANITE visualization overview. So there are a couple of things more that we are going to have to convert. For example, let's convert our floor disk. So let me double click on it, enable NANITE, apply changes, and that's it. Let's do the same thing with our backplate and double click on the mesh, and at the top, enable NANITE and save. And as you see, my NANITE scene is, growing and growing. So now let's do it for this guy right here, and enable, apply changes, and save. So there you go. We are getting there. Everything is NANITE. So let's go where this is. Let's select them all and NANITE enable. This should also work. There it is. And then here, let's save all. And lastly, the cube, right? So double click, enable NANITE, apply changes, and this should be it. After we have all shaders prepared, we should have, all right, we are getting a weird issue with this 5, and this is where we're going to start seeing things that are still not completely right in Real Engine 5, and that is that this 5 is compressed of 3 shapes, 3 meshes that are intersecting very closely together, and Lumen is having a hard time, determining who is in front of who. So if you get any problem like this, that's why we still have Unreal Engine 4, all right, inside Unreal Engine 5. So what we're going to do is going to simply, this is not working, no problem. Right click, NANITE, disable. That's it. Now this 5 will run through the deferred rendering without going through NANITE, and it's going to work with Lumen with a little bit of, the virtual shadow maps are going to be a little bit slower because it's not NANITE, and Lumen, it's going to have to retrace it, more often than everything that is NANITE, all right? But, there it is. Now we are Unreal Engine 5. Okay, we have shadows, we have reflections, we have everything. Now we can go one last step further, all right? And that is, so I told you that reflections, these software reflections are going to get better. Well, they can get better. So I'm going to go edit, project settings, and render. There it is. And now below, our global illuminations reflection, there is this section right here, use hardware ray tracing when available. So if you do have a ray tracing capable video card and you want to use, instead of the Lumen software reflection, the Lumen hardware reflection, you're going to turn this on, and that's it. Now look at those reflections. Those are ray trace reflections, right? They're going to be a little bit better than the software, but a little bit worse than the original ray trace from NVIDIA. But we are going to get there soon. So now we have the best of the best of the best of the best, right? We have Lumen, we have NANITE, we have hardware reflections, we have everything working here. And that is how you can take your project and you can set it completely as Unreal Engine 4, or you can do a mix match in between Unreal Engine 5 and 4, or you can go all the way 5 until you get some things like with things that we had with these 5 that will not convert right to nanite. But then again, with modeling tools, I bet that we can get rid of, all these internal structure, and this should work also. But that is going to be on another occasion because this video has reached to the end. And well, you know the drill. I hope you find this interesting. And if you like it, subscribe and be ready for more and more content about Unreal Engine 5. And you know the drill. Be good. Love you all and see you soon. Bye bye.